Michael.
And we're the Board of Directors. And welcome back to our board meeting. This month's topic is provision.
Well, I think it first takes a man knowing what a provider actually is. A lot of people think that when you talk about the word providing, you're talking about financial support, material things. But being a provider is much more than that. You need to provide, of course, financially, because you want to be financially responsible to your family or to whoever you're deemed to support. But you also want to provide time. You want to provide love, patience, and so it's only when you understand what the word provider actually means that you can become, a good provider.
Let's go into provision just a little bit more and expound on what Jabari said, because I think a lot of times people think of providing as just financially supporting someone. Let's talk a little bit more about that.
Well, providing definitely is about monetary, but it's much more. I guess one of the best examples you can think about is child support. Of course, a field today with fathers who only think that paying child support is enough to provide. Obviously, it's not, because you take a look at the effects of the children. The children are not coming up as they need to come up, mainly because the father's not providing everything he needs to provide to the child. Provision is strictly more about the money, yes, but it still is time involved. I mean, if you got a fatherless child, he has nowhere to go. He doesn't know, when he has questions, they're not being answered because his father's not there. As he begins to reach puberty and things start happening to his body, he doesn't know how to respond to it because his father isn't there to respond to questions. The time is not there. I mean, just time in general is a missing part. It's a big thing to me because I grew up in a single parent home with just my mother. So there's a lot of things that men take for granted that happens when they have a father around that you don't get. I mean, like tying a tie, the proper way to brush your hair.
Yeah. It's little simple things that you think that may not be that big of a deal, but it makes a difference when you actually have a man there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And go back like to what you were talking about with the courts. It's like I almost wish that when the courts sit down and they say that, okay, you have to pay X amount of dollars to support your child, that they would almost in a way mandate that they spend time also.
Yeah.
But that gets a little tricky sometimes because the father may not be, I guess, in the right mental capacity. You may end up being a detriment to the child rather than helping them out. And also, you can't make someone be emotionally invested. I mean, you can say you have to spend 4 hours on this Saturday with your child, but you can't make them engage that child.
That's right.
You can say, okay, I'll sit here and do my 4 hours, and we can sit here and look at each other.
There's no guarantees it's going to be quality time.
Yeah, exactly. You can't say you have to emotionally invest in this child. You have to love them. You have to show them that you care about them more than just providing the money. And it's really, I think, it's something that we could get across to people, that it's important to spend that time and to do that, because, like I said, you can't mandate it. I think that a lot of these situations would be a lot better off.
Yeah, I agree. And there's another thing you was talking about. How courts, they do mandate a certain amount of time allotted, like every other weekend. The child go to the father.
Shared custody.
Mostly, the father mostly get like every other weekend. And really, that's not enough time to really build a child and really invest into him. I think I was reading something by John Maxwell, and he said in order to produce the quality time needed, you have to give them quantity time, because you got to give them a lot of time to get the quality out of the time invested. I mean, so if you're giving them 2 weekends every month, I mean, really, are you really getting into your child when you get into them? I mean, you can't go over a whole school week in a weekend. He got schoolwork to do. He got friends and situations and circumstances you coming across. You really can't teach your son how to handle situations and deal with things when you only see him every other weekend.
Exactly. I agree. Yeah, and kind of going back to what I said earlier, is that sometimes these fathers, they don't want to be, the ones that are in the course for child support. Some of them don't necessarily want to be emotionally involved in the child's life. So I think if we try to go back to making it a mandatory thing, or saying, okay, make sure you invest time and care about that child when you have them every other weekend, then if they're not mentally prepared or actually are trying to engage it, it may actually be more detrimental to that child.
Yeah.
And it's kind of sad, but I think that's that's part of the reason why we need people who are mentors in our community, in the society, to, you know, if you have the benefit of having good examples and knowing that you actually were, you know, brought up and someone cared for you, you've got to share that.
Yeah.
I mean, because, you know, you provide, we talk about providing for our family, providing for our loved ones,
That's right.
but we have to provide for society as well.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's bigger than just our household. It begins at home, but it's bigger than us. You have to go outside of your home, outside of yourself,
That's right.
and touch others.
And you know, you could be helping somebody, man. Just maybe spend like one weekend with a kid, and you might be a positive influence. You know, you say, I don't know any men like that. You know, he might take that and run with it, and it might open his mind to a whole new world.
Yeah.
So you know, that's a good point.
Yeah, that's true.
Absolutely.
Every little bit counts.
Absolutely, absolutely. I guess it's one of the biggest reasons why we did decide to write the book. Talk about the character of things, man. You know, that's one thing we discuss in the book is vision. Why it's so important. Characteristic of what manhood is really about.
Yeah, definitely. Now, if you have questions that you would like to ask us about what we discuss here, if you want to make suggestions for what we can do in future episodes, contact us by email at TrueBoardofDirectors@gmail.com, or you can also visit our website, which is www.themakingsofAman.com. Thanks for watching.